In 72 minutes, 5 billion people could be dead, entire nations reduced to ash, global agriculture collapsed, and the world as we know it erased, all set in motion by a single person, with no vote, no debate, and no way to hit undo. That is not the plot of a Hollywood movie. That is the scenario laid out by investigative journalist Annie Jacobsen, based on dozens of interviews with former defense secretaries, nuclear subcommanders, and Pentagon officials in her 2024 book Nuclear War. A scenario. Today, we break down exactly how a nuclear war unfolds minute by minute, and most importantly, what you, as an ordinary person, can actually do to survive those first critical hours.
According to official FEMA guidance, CDC radiation safety protocols, and peer-reviewed nuclear research. Let us start with the part that almost no one fully grasps.
How easily this can start. Most people imagine nuclear war requires months of escalation, armies massing on borders, and endless diplomatic meetings. The reality, according to Jacobsen's sources, is far faster and far more fragile. The President of the United States holds sole, unchallengeable authority to launch nuclear weapons. No approval from Congress, no sign-off from the Secretary of Defense, no vote from the Joint Chiefs of Staff. One person makes the call, and the entire chain of command is trained to execute it immediately, no questions asked. If that sounds unbelievable, you are not alone. But as Jacobsen documents, Congress itself confirmed this fact in an official report during the Trump administration after widespread alarm over nuclear rhetoric. The reason is simple physics. An intercontinental ballistic missile travels from one continent to another in roughly 30 minutes. From the moment satellites detect a launch, the president has roughly 6 minutes to make a decision. There is no time for debate, no time to gather a cabinet, no time to call allies. There is only the black book, a pre-written menu of strike options carried 24/7 by a military aide in the famous nuclear football briefcase. The president picks an option, verifies their identity, and the order goes out. Within minutes, missiles are in the air. What follows is not hours or days of fighting. It is 72 minutes of cascading catastrophe, as mapped out in Jacobsen's scenario based on declassified war games and STRATCOM briefings. It starts with a single launch, quickly spirals into misinterpretation, and ends with a full-scale exchange between major nuclear powers. By minute 72, over 1,000 warheads have detonated across North America, Europe, and Asia. Hundreds of millions die instantly in fireballs hotter than the surface of the sun. Cities turn to ash. The electromagnetic pulse wipes out almost all electronics across entire continents. Power grids, hospitals, communication systems, all gone in an instant. removing outer clothing eliminates up to 80% of radioactive contamination on your body. Put the clothes in a sealed plastic bag and keep it away from living areas. Then wash your entire body with soap and water. Do not scrub hard, as that can damage your skin and increase absorption. Wash your hair with shampoo, but never use hair conditioner, because it binds radioactive particles to your hair and makes them impossible to wash out. Step 4. Stay inside. This is the rule most people get wrong. According to the 7-10 rule of radiation decay, used by FEMA and emergency planners worldwide, radiation levels drop extremely fast over time. For every 7-fold increase in time after detonation, radiation intensity drops by a factor of 10. That means after 7 hours, it is 1/10 as strong as it was at 1 hour. After 49 hours, about 2 days, it is 1/100th as strong. After roughly 2 weeks, it is 1,000th as strong. FEMA's official guidance is to shelter for a minimum of 24 hours, and ideally 48 to 72 hours, before even considering leaving. Leaving too early is the single most common fatal mistake. Now what happens after those first 72 hours? This is where the long-term picture gets far darker, according to Professor Brian Toon. It's one of the original nuclear winter researchers whose 2022 study published in Nature Food modeled the global effects of a full-scale nuclear exchange. The 1,000 firestorms ignited by nuclear blasts would send millions of tons of soot high into the stratosphere, where it would circle the planet and block sunlight for years. Global temperatures would plummet to levels not seen since the last ice age. Crop yields across the world's major agricultural regions would collapse by 90% or more. In total, the study estimated roughly 5 billion people would die from starvation, disease, and exposure in the years following a full-scale war, far more than die in the initial blasts. For long-term survival beyond the first week, Toon's research and independent preparedness studies point to 3 critical factors. First, location. Rural areas far from major cities, military bases, and industrial targets have the lowest immediate risk. Regions in the southern hemisphere, particularly New Zealand and southern Australia, would retain the most viable agriculture according to the climate models. Second, supplies. You need enough stored food, water, and medicine to last a minimum of 2 weeks, and ideally several months. Global supply chains will not come back quickly, if at all. Third, community. Individual families cannot maintain security, food production, and medical care alone. Groups of people with shared skills and resources have dramatically higher odds of long-term survival. None of this is meant to spread panic. In fact, the entire point of Jacobsen's work, and of public safety guidelines from FEMA and the CDC, is the opposite. Nuclear war is a man-made threat. It is not a natural disaster we cannot stop. It is a choice made by human beings, which means human beings can also choose a different path. We have been here before. In 1983, at the height of the Cold War, the world had over 70,000 nuclear warheads. But with 9 nuclear-armed nations in the world today, multiple active proxy wars, and rising geopolitical tension, the risk is higher than it has been in decades. Add the emerging variable of artificial intelligence and automated warning systems, and the margin for error gets even thinner. Knowledge is your first line of defense. Understanding how nuclear command systems work, understanding how radiation behaves, and understanding what to do in those first critical minutes does not make nuclear war more likely. It makes you prepared. And on a larger scale, an informed public is the greatest check on the risk of nuclear conflict. When people understand the stakes, they demand better from their leaders. They demand diplomacy over escalation. They demand safeguards over sole authority. If there is one takeaway from all of this, it is this. The story of nuclear war is not written yet. The map does not have to lead to destruction. The same human ingenuity that built these weapons can also build a world without them. It starts with knowing the truth about how real the risk is, and how much is actually within our power to change. If this breakdown of nuclear scenarios and survival guidance was useful, hit the like button. Subscribe for more deep dives into hidden systems and real-world preparedness. And let me know in the comments, what is one step you plan to take to be better prepared?